Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here once again. Thank you all. Thank you all for bringing light to this important process that's going to go in the background here. Thank you once again for standing up for immigrant families. Thank you all once again for standing up for Kilmar Abrego Garcia and his family, his friends. And thank you all, allies, friends, family, for being here. We're going to have a brief program today. We're going to talk a little bit about what we expect is going to happen in the background here. But I want to first start by thanking our faith leaders, and I want to bring up first a huge ally of our immigrant community, Padre Vidal, to give an opening prayer. Padre Vidal.
Tomada de la carta del apóstol San Pablo a los Romanos en el capítulo 13, versículo 10.
From the Apostle St. Paul from Romanos, sorry.
Y todos los demás preceptos se resumen en esta fórmula: amarás a tu prójimo como a ti mismo. La caridad no hace mal al prójimo. La caridad es, por tanto, la ley en su plenitud.
I do not have the translation, but this is about loving thy neighbor.
Esperamos que esta administración pueda practicar el amor que Dios tiene con sus vidas. Si Dios les da la vida y les da generosidad de poder estar sirviendo en este país, y que sienten el amor de Dios, también que ellos practiquen el amor de Dios con este hermano García que necesita justicia.
We expect that anybody that avows to be a Christian to abide by the Bible and understand that Kilmar is also our neighbor and Kilmar also deserves respect and compassion.
Como Jesús nos dijo, un solo mandamiento le doy, que se amen los unos a los otros como yo los he amado. Si nosotros decimos que amamos a Dios, tenemos que amarnos entre nosotros mismos y no tenemos que hacer injusticia a nadie.
Like Jesus said, we must all love our brothers, we must all love one another, and this is the expectation that we should expect of this government.
Que Dios ilumine hoy a los jueces que van a tomar una determinación que sea saludable y que sea con justicia y dignidad y que no tenga ninguna ley política ni ninguna ideología que se preste a injusticias.
May God illuminate the judges today and act accordingly and should not be informed by any ideology or any practices other than the law, and may they practice what they preach.
Que la justicia sea como el río que dé vida y que ilumine y transforme, y que cada uno de nosotros sigamos unidos en Cristo luchando por la verdad y la justicia. Amén.
Amen. May justice reign and may we all follow the rule of law. I apologize for that weak translation of the powerful words of Padre Vidal. I'm not a professional interpreter and appreciate your patience on that. But what I do want to share with you today is a little bit of where we are and how we came to this moment in time. I think it's really important to remember the preceding events that led to this day today. Last time we were here together, we were preparing to hear arguments in that courtroom about the government's attempt to send Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Uganda. You all remember that? That's what we heard, right? Soon after, we received a report that was no longer the case. They were now working on some other nefarious plan after the government of Uganda decided they did not want to be involved in this ploy. Later on, through social media, which this government decides that is the way it wants to communicate with its people, we heard that Eswatini was now the latest country in which Kilmar was going to be taken. Within a couple of weeks, couple of days, shame. Within a couple of days after that, we learned that Eswatini was no longer on the table, and now what we hear is that they have a plan to send him to Liberia. And that is precisely what we're about to hear arguments about in the courtroom today. This judge, standing up for justice, standing up for the rule of law, is asking the government to explain itself, explain why they have chosen Liberia, what their plans are, and whatever happened to Costa Rica, and why that's off the table. We understand there'll be a witness from the Department of Justice, the Department of so-called Justice, that will be arguing today why Costa Rica is off the table and Liberia is on. Well, I gotta admit that I'm actually impressed that Stephen Miller and Donald Trump can name 3 African countries, right? It is obvious that just by naming and threatening the deportation of an African country is of itself a punishment against a man whose sole crime was to seek justice and to ensure that the rule of law is being followed. So today, we want to make sure that we stand here united. We want to make sure that Kilmar, his family, understands that we are by his side. We will not let this go silently into the night. We will work with him. We will continue to stand by him as he has bravely denounced and fought for his rights. He's denounced this injustice. He's fought for his rights, and in such admirable, brave ways. You all remember that only about 3 days after he was released, you all remember how first he was taken to El Salvador, taken to one of the most notorious jails in the world, tortured and beaten at the Secot jail, brought back to the United States, taken to Tennessee, where he was charged, again, unlawfully for crimes he did not commit. Shortly thereafter, the judge there released him, and in a course of 2 to 3 days later, he was forced to appear in Baltimore for a supposed check-in. You all remember what happened in Baltimore, right? He was taken in front of our eyes. He was taken again, and in social media, we saw how he was shackled and chained and escorted into an elevator in an office building. Shame! Shame! And again, why was that? Nothing more and nothing less than to detour you all, send a message to you all, send a message to him, that that's what happens when you fight for justice. That's what happens when you stand up for your rights in this country, in this administration. You're going to let that happen? No. Absolutely not. And let's remember what Kilmar bravely said while he was being taped on that propaganda social media that DHS tried to reveal when they tried to humiliate him and tried to shackled him and escorted him to that elevator in Baltimore. You all remember what he said when he looked straight into the camera? He looked straight into the camera and he said, "Gobierno corrupto," as he was taken to the elevator. Who knows what that means? Corrupt government. And that is what he's fighting against in his own way. They are trying to muzzle him. They are trying to keep him from seeking justice. But are we going to let him? No. Absolutely not. So this is why we are here today, because we're not going to let anything, we're never going to allow any court proceeding to happen in silence. We're never going to allow any of these proceedings to happen in a way in which the American public is not shown the injustice and the farcity of which this court here, of this whole process is being underscored. So I am proud to be here with our allies. I'm proud to be here with champions of justice and our champions for the immigrant community to make sure that none of this goes unseen, goes unheard, and we fight the government every which way. Because one thing we're doing is we're taking names, we're taking notes. We will seek justice. We will have justice no matter what we hear from the court today. So, justice! 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 Thank you. And now, I'd like to bring some champions up to the podium who have been here with us, fighting the whole way, making sure that this does not go into the shadows. And first, I'd like to bring up one one of our huge champions in the immigrant community, council member Natalie Fanny Gonzalez, who's been and stood with Kilmar this entire time.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Natalie Fanny Gonzalez. I'm a council member in Montgomery County, and I'm proud to stand with our immigrant community and our allies. I'm an immigrant myself, and when I came to this country many years ago, I was a teenager, not that young at this point. I remember that my mom told me, we're gonna move to the United States because that's a nation that believes in protecting people. That's a nation that respects the rule of law. That's what my mom told me. And as I look back, I think that this country is changing in front of our eyes. When we stop respecting due process, we stop respecting democracy. We stop losing our values, and we cannot allow that. That's what's happening today in this case. As Americans, and now I love this country. I love the United States of America. I am so proud to be here, and I'm grateful. But we cannot just close our eyes and think that what's happening today in this nation can be avoided. You need to speak up. And due process is part of those values that we embrace when we say that we respect democracy, not just here, but around the world. So thank you so much for having me, and we're gonna keep fighting to respect our values, to respect our immigrant community, and to ensure that we are moving forward as a nation. And that's never gonna happen if we don't speak up and show up as we're doing today. So thank you for having me today.
Okay, now I'd love for our chorus here to sing with us, to lead us in a great prayer chair. Yes, that'd be great.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go. Everywhere I go.
again, thank you so much. In a minute, we're going to ask folks to start moving into the courtroom, because what we would love to see is we would love to see that courtroom packed full of supporters of Kilmar, and they're taking notes, listening to the farcity of the arguments that are going to be in play by this government. And now we would love to have one of our biggest champions in our state legislature, who's been there with the immigrant community day after day, advocating for our rights and creating victories on a daily basis for our community. And for that, we'd like to bring up State Delegate Gabriela Acevedo. Please.
Se puede. Good morning. I'd like to thank CASA. I'd like to thank all of the members of the Immigrant Justice Coalition that continue to show up in our state's capital, continue to advocate for our immigrant neighbors, and ensure that we are not just doing all that we can legislatively as a state, but we're standing up for and with immigrant communities. I'm a proud immigrant from Trinidad and Tobago, but my family, my Hispanic heritage, is from Venezuela, and I'm very proud of that. And I recognize that there's so much work that we need to do to fix our intentionally broken immigration system, and we see how that is playing out on our streets right now as ICE is becoming an organization that is fulfilling its original function, which is to terrorize communities. It is not keeping us safe, and it is why here in Maryland we have taken legislative actions like passing the Dignity Not Detention Act that bans all ICE facilities in the state of Maryland. Bravo! It is also why we need to go further and stand with and up for immigrant communities by ending the 287G program to ensure that ICE does not, and any local law enforcement does not cooperate in the terrorizing of our communities. We see what is happening every single day. We've seen what I call Gestapo tactics used by ICE to not just track down, but kidnap, in many instances, even US citizens off the street. Each and every one of us have a responsibility to speak up, but we as legislators have a responsibility to act. And so it is why I am proud to support not just ending the 287G program, but making sure that we are not sharing data with ICE so that they can continue to terrorize communities and kidnap people and disrupt communities and break up families. And so today we are not just here to support the family as well as Kilmar Abrego Garcia, but we're here to speak up for all immigrant communities that are being targeted in this moment.
That's right. That's right.
We also understand the racism in how immigration policies are enforced. Even though Haitian immigrants make up a small majority of those at our southern border, they make up a large majority of those that are deported. And we all know what is happening in Haiti right now and the political instability that the United States, as a result of US foreign policy, have created conditions and destabilization in Haiti. And so to send Haitian immigrants who are coming here seeking a better life and opportunity as every other immigrant community before them, we are instead targeting communities, deporting them to countries that they have not known. These things are wrong, and so I applaud the leadership of Maryland's U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen in not just ensuring Kilmar comes back, but the tactics of this administration now is to make an example of Kilmar. And they are using our criminal legal system to not just disparage, but ensure that he is made an example of. And so we are here to stand with his family, to say that in Maryland, we not only stand up and stand with immigrant communities, But if you are going to come and terrorize immigrant communities, our neighbors, you're going to have to come through us first. And so next legislative session, we're going to make sure that we are focused on an immigrant justice package that protects communities, ensures public safety, and stop what ICE is doing on our streets, but all across America. And we know what they are doing are not just unprecedented and illegal, but the fact that they're doing it while masking their identity. And shame on Republicans. Shame on Republicans who just a few years ago were against the wearing of masks in a global pandemic.
That's right.
But are willing to condone the masking of so-called law enforcement and federal police who are disappearing and kidnapping people off the streets of Maryland and all across this country. So next legislative session, that's going to be a part of what we do to ensure that no one that claims to be enforcing the law should be shrouding or masking their identity if you intend to do so. And so I will continue to stand, not just as an ally, but a co-conspirator for immigrant justice, because this country has to do more to ensure a pathway to citizenship for our communities.
That's right.
I proudly represent Maryland's 39th legislative district, but I recognize that my lived experience as an immigrant is no way removed from that of my immigrant neighbors, regardless of their legal status, because in Maryland, we don't value legal status, we value the person and what they bring to our community. And we see that every single day, not just in terms of what immigrants contribute in taxes, but what they contribute culturally, socially, economically, and culturally to the fabric of our state and this country. So let us continue to stand up. And I'm proud to stand with my fellow colleagues in elective office to make sure that we are standing with immigrant communities and supporting legislation at the federal level that finally fix a system that is racially disparate in who it prioritizes, who it targets, and who is considered legal in this country. We have to do more. It's why I have supported the Venezuelan act that is currently before the U.S. Congress that would provide a pathway to citizenship for Venezuelans who have been in this country and contributed so much. We have to do more. And so I thank CASA and I thank all of the organizations that are here to say loudly and clearly, bring Kilmar home.
Bring Kilmar home.
To bring Kilmar home.
Bring Kilmar home.
And justice for every single immigrant in our state and this country. Solidarity and thank you.
Thank you.
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
And thank you so much, Delegate. That was a beautiful summary of why we're here and the clear through line between the abduction and the kidnapping of Kilmar Abrego Garcia and the fight for justice that continues, the struggles that are happening right now in D.C. with the federal occupation and the collaboration of D.C. police, the occupation of Chicago, and now the move to Charlotte, North Carolina, because if one thing you take home today, you'll know that these people, us, our community, our brave champions will be in the fight and will show up and show out, whether it's in front of a courtroom, whether it's in a state capitol, whether it's in a county municipal building, or whether it's in front of the White House in Capitol Hill. Will you be there?
Yes.
What do you want?
Justice.
When do you want it?
Now.
Let's go get justice. Thank you so much. And we have one final closing. I'm so sorry. We're going to have a final closing by Rabbi Mark here, and then we'll go into the courtroom. Thank you so much. Rabbi Mark, thank you.
I'm Rabbi Mark Israel. I'm proud to stand here with CASA, with behalf of the Congregational Action Network, to offer this prayer as we head into the courtroom. We call upon you, God, who we know by so many names, source of life, eternal one, the spirit of justice and compassion. We are gathered as one community, many voices, many traditions, united by the belief that every human being is created with dignity and created in your divine image. Every human being deserves safety, belonging, and love. There is no such thing as an illegal person. Our sacred texts remind us that you shall not wrong or oppress a stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt, and our prophets call upon us to seek justice for all. Today we lift our prayers for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, for his family, who long for his return. We pray to you, O God, to protect him and to give him peace, and for all the immigrants who journey with hope in their hearts. Immigrants like my family who came here, my father's family who came here following World War II, seeking a place where they would not be persecuted. That is what we seek for all people who are in America. We pray on behalf of the immigrants who are in Charlotte, who are in Chicago and California, and right here in Maryland, being taken from school buses, from parking lots, right off the GW Parkway. It is our duty to stand with our neighbors, to protect our neighbors. We pray, O God, for Judge Paula Sinis, who's been entrusted with the responsibility of hearing this case. We pray that her heart will remain open, that her mind will be clear, that she will continue to look out for the rights of those who are in need. We pray for Kilmar's family, for Jennifer, and for the children who are living with the uncertainty. We pray that they will find comfort within their hardship, that our strength that we stand here with them today will give them greater resolve as they move forward, knowing the solidarity and the love that we share with them. We pray for all immigrants and refugees, that they may find welcome, safety, and opportunity. May our nation remember its calling to be a place of refuge, a place that lifts up and does not stomp upon those who come here, a place where all people can come and realize their dreams. And we will continue to protect and to stand with our neighbors wherever they are from. We stand together in this, and we ask your blessing upon this assembly with courage to continue this work of justice, to strengthen our hands, to defend the vulnerable, to open our hearts to the needy, and to remind our leaders of their responsibilities and to act with compassion. May we leave here resolved to walk together in the paths of peace and justice and love.
Thank you so much, Rabbi, for those beautiful words. Now, before we go inside, we also ask everybody here to please fill out a postcard directly to Kilmar. You see my colleague there, Kim, and anybody that has a Casa sweater, you can get a postcard from her. These postcards are really important. Our brother Kilmar is really suffering at this time, being isolated in prison, and really is a time of real need. And I know our hearts are full in solidarity with them, so now is our opportunity to send him a personal message to ensure that he feels and hears and breathes all the love that is happening out here, because again, we know he is being imprisoned. Again, we know he is being restricted from being with his family, with his friends, and is suffering enormously at this time. So really appreciate if you can fill out a postcard. And now, again, thank you so much for being here, and let's go in the courtroom and let's show them what justice looks like. Thank you so much for being here.